With only 3 events left, the season is almost wrapped up as we go to event 14, the Trio Pursuit. Hello everyone, I am your commentator, Mary. Last time out, the Masquerades now have a lead of 17 points ahead of the second place Ballet Birds. With only a few events left, the Ballet Birds need to make a push in order to take back the lead. We're now going to our test run with our lovely test teams as usual. So anyways, this is going to be a trio event and heats of 8. Each team has 3 lives each, and 8 marbles have to go through a course and must try and finish in the top half of marbles. If you don't, you will lose a life for your team. If you if you lose all your lives, your team is now knocked out. For the first round, you must try and be the last 4 teams standing with at least 1 life in order to go to the finals. For the finals, whoever is the last team standing will win. Here are going to be the trios for this event. Some of these trios we have actually seen in the Tower Check event. So that's lovely. So let's see which trio will reign on top in this event. Time to get on with Heat A. Spinal Spirals, Light Shows, Maidens, Anchors, Rings, Maros, Masquerades, and Crescents. Pacific Rings now in the front of the pack. Anchors currently in second. Light Shows brawling out with the Crescents in third. Masquerades also in that, trying to get into the conversation as well. Anchors now trying to hold on to the lead against the Rings. But in this event, having the lead does not matter. It only matters being in the top 4 or the top half for each race. Anchors now stretching it very ahead of the second place Masquerades and third place Spirals, as those 3 marbles and the Rings will be the ones to keep their lives for their teams in the first round. Lunaris, Flutter, Daybreak, and Curve could not do it. And as they lose a life for their team, another marble will be swapped in instead. So instead of Flutter, it's gonna be Antenna for the Maidens instead. Going on to round 2. And there they go now. Light Shows now take the lead with their Captain Luna as Crescents are on their tail. Amaros and Anchors running on the top 4 as of now. But with so much of the course to go, we can't say for sure who will keep their lives. Light Shows now take the lead from the Crescents. Can Luna bring home the Heat win and keep a life for the Luna Light Shows? Crescents and Light Shows now brawling out for first, just trying to hold on to the top half spot. Anchors holding up pressure from the Maros and Masquerades. Anchors now fall down to 5th. Oh, it's going to be a tight fight for 4th. But I think the Mars barely edge out both the Maidens and Spirals. And they did. Amber will beat out Antenna and Magnus. Oh, and speaking of the Monarch Maidens, they are now down to 1 life, as neither Antenna nor Flutter made it to the top half for their respective heats. It's now up to their 3rd marble migrate if they to hopefully clutch up a win for their team, as Heat 3 or Round 3 begins for Heat 1. Mars now in lead, but here comes the Rings giving pressure. Maidens migrate trying to catch up, hoping to secure a spot for the Maidens and hoping to clutch it out for them. Rings now still in the lead. Maros and Anchors trying to gain speed. Crescents ahead of the Maidens. Can the Maidens make up the ground, or they will be our first team knocked out? And it's gonna be a tight fight between these six marbles, but I think they barely do. I think they are barely ahead of the Pacific Rings, and but it's gonna result in a photo finish between both of those marbles. Who's gonna edge out is gonna be the Monarch Maidens, just barely. Margaret will edge out Southern. The Maidens will live for another day. But after that heat, after barely surviving, 5 teams are now only down to 1 life. Anchors and Mars are down to 2, and while Masquerade is doing a wonderful job, still in 3. We're now guaranteed to see at least 1 team knocked out of this heat. Who's it gonna be? Anchors now leading, with the Maidens, Crescents, Spirals, and Maros fighting for it. Rings, Masquerades, and Light Shows especially need to catch up if they want to stay in for another round. Anchors now leading. The Anchors are currently last place team. They're looking for some redemption, as they can no longer put in. They just want a good end to the season. Here come the Maros, Spirals, and Maidens. But can those 4 marbles hold on from pressure from the other teams? And I think they do, yes, despite the pressure from the Light Shows and Crescents. But I think that might cost those teams at the end. Good job for Amber, Secure, Margaret, and Steven. Their teams will survive for another round. But after this heat, 3 teams have been knocked out. Light shows, rings, and crescents. 3 teams are knocked out. Only 5 remain in this heat, as Spirals and Maidens still stand with 1 life, the rest with 2. Since there's only 5 teams left, it's only going to be the bottom 2 that will lose lives for their teams. Currently, Maiden, Spirals, and Masquerades in the spots to not lose a life. Remember, Spirals and Maidens are the ones who are only standing with 1 life, with the last marble, Steven and Migrate. Actually, both of those marbles are at the back of the pack. They both need a good showing if they want to stay in for another round, as currently Steven are alongside the Amber Morrows. But Steven are slowing down right next to the mains, and they're falling behind. Can Steven make up the ground? Oh, they fall back! They fall to last! And I think the Maidens actually finished in the top 3 in this heat, and they did! They won the whole heat! Oh, and it's gonna be disastrous for the Spinel Sprouts, as they're the final team knocked out of this heat. Morrows, Masquerades, Maidens, and Anchors will be the ones going to the finals. Onto Heat B, the other 8 teams. Tooths, Periwinkles, Lush, Lights, Birds, Swirls, Dancers, and Suns. Same procedure, different set of teams. Suns now out in front, with the Dancers in second. The Birds, our team in second, trying to gain back the lead from the Masquerades, despite a 17-point gap between them. Periwinkles, look at that speed! A burst speed from the Periwinkles, as they will cruise ahead of everyone else, and they will cruise to a heat win. It's close between the Dancers and Swirls for that final spot of safety, but it will be Ginger edging out Hank from the Dragon Dancers. As Lush, Lumi, Hank, and Sundrin will have to be subbed out for a different marble for the next round. We have seen great things. We have seen great recoveries, such as the Maidens, who have Migrate single-handedly carried their entire team for advancement. We can see another situation like that today, as the Birds once again have the heat lead, with Lush and Lumi right behind them, as they just both lost a life in the last round. Can they both keep one instead? Here comes Ginger from the Simon Swirls, now in the front. The rest pack onto the far side of the course, as Sweet is still at the very back, trying to catch up. Swirls are basically guaranteed to keep their life, as they're miles ahead of second place, Lush, and third place Birds, and they will cruise to first, as Lush, Birds, and Suns will be our top 4 for this heat, as they will all keep 1 life for their teams, while the Sweet Tooths, Periwinkles, Light, and Dancers will not be so lucky. And Dancers and Lights are only now both down to 1 life, as the Birds and Swirls still in 3, the rest still at 2. We need to see good things from Opalson and Fenghua if they want to stay in. If they are out here, they're basically guaranteed last place, as 16th and 9th are decided by how many rounds you've survived in the longest streak of survivals. Periwinkles with the Captain Winkle now in front, with the Suns right behind them. Lights and Dancers need to do something if they want to hold on, as Dancers are now currently in second. Can they hold on? Lights need to desperately make a move. Opal edging out the Swirls. Dancers falling behind. Can they hold off the pressure? They don't. Suns made an overtake. Well, I cannot tell. It would happen so fast, and it's gonna be a photo finish between both the Birds and the Suns. Opal did do enough to finish in the top 4. Suns will keep their life. Sutanu cannot do so, as they will lose one for the Birds. But however, Fenghua, despite being the top half at some point in this heat, they cannot do it. Dancers have not survived a single round, and they are now out. They're now basically guaranteed 16th, and 4 team and 3rd, that's going to be disastrous for them. 17 remaining, same procedure. Despite only having 7 teams, it'll be the top 4 that will not lose a life. Birds once again on the lead. Birds usually have a great start in this heat. Oh, Swirls got stuck! Cinnamon Swirls get stuck on the edge! Buzzlush now still in the front. You must now try not to be in the bottom 2, as one was already stuck. Winkle with another burst of speed. They're now ahead of the Buzzlush. Can they hold on? And they do! Birds and Sweeties will not be so lucky, as neither of them will finish in the top half in this heat. Lolly and a cart and Powder cannot do it. There's Powder, but now we have 5 teams in the red. Periwinkles and Sons are confirmed to survive for one more round. But since we are now guaranteed to lose at least one team, if I'm math right, we're actually guaranteed to lose 2 teams in this one heat. Now who are those teams gonna be? Everyone's very packed together, not wanting to fall behind and lose a life for their respective teams. Sons and Periwinkles can have it easy as they still have an extra life to spare, but they would like to not lose it. Lush in the front with Winkle with their iconic burst of speed. Here come the Ballet Birds now in the front. Can they hold on? If they're knocked out, the Masquerades will most certainly keep their lead, but they will keep it. Oh, did the Lush try to make a push with the Suns? And were they able to do it? It's gonna be a photo between sunlight and nature. This may cost the Suns a light. This may cost the Balls a light, and they won't do it. Nature cannot make the pass. Cavity, Nature, and Spice cannot go in the top half, and as a result, all 3 of their teams are knocked out. That means the Periwinkles, Synthetic Suns, Lights, and Birds will be the ones to make it out of Heat B. We have, as you can tell, there's a lot of ties in the bottom half, such as a 3-way tie for both 10th and 13th. But the Swirls will stand alone in 9th. We now have our finalists. For the finals is whoever lasts longest. Still the same procedure. And here we are now. Maidens the Periwinkles, who's gonna be the one to reign supreme and get gold in this event. Masquerades in front now. Everyone trying to win staying in the bottom half as Maidens and Periwinkles are in it. Masquerades and Ballet Birds, funnily enough, are in the front. Here come the Synthetic Suns, though, putting in some pressure onto both of them. Maidens and Periwinkles need to make up that ground if they don't want to lose a life, but I think they certainly will. Masquerades will cross the line along with the Suns and Morrows and Birds. None of them will lose a life just yet. The rest will now be dropped down to 2. Also, interestingly enough, all of our bottom 4 are actually in this heat. Well, maybe not bottom 3 certainly. Along with the Anchors and Mars, who have not scored a single medal in this entire season so far, with only 3 left, they would certainly like to do so. Lights now currently in front, fighting with the Suns. Maidens in 2nd, Anchors holding off a Storm in 4th. As the Morrows, no, Masquerades get stuck now. Masquerades, the same thing as Cinnamon Swirls, they get hung up on the sand section. Lights and Suns with the Morrows in the front. Can the Maidens and Anchors fight for it? Look at that, Suns and Morrows fall back. They fall to the bottom half and let us the Birds and Maidens sneak by. Horrible move on their part. Flutter Mainstay, Sutanu, and Sunbeam will be the ones that keep their lives today in this round. Unfortunately, by the Masquerades, that's when they got stuck. Winkle and Pearlescent will lose a life, but Periwinkles and Lights only down to 1. It's up to their last members, Magnolia and Opal, to hopefully clutch them out a podium finish. But unlike the Maidens, there's no advancement. This is the finals. They have to pull their whole team on their back if they want to get a medal. Currently enough, it's going to be a big fight. Lights, another marble gets stuck. The Synthetic Suns get stuck as well. A lot of DNFs in the finals. Lights now leading. Can Periwinkles, can Magnolia get that burst of speed like Winkle just did multiple times earlier? Opal, hoping to secure another round for their team. As they do, despite Morals getting the heat win. Oh, and the Periwinkles, Magnolia, at the back, they could not do it. This Periwinkle, as they did not finish in the top 4, they will be our first team knocked out. They will get 8th place. Still a relatively good showing, but disappointing that they cannot survive a single round in the finals. Anyways, Masquerades and Lights still standing with 1 life. It's up to Garb and Opal to carry their team on their back, as Garb now leads the pack. Sun 2nd, Anchors 3rd, Lights fighting with Morrows and Birds for 4th. Masquerade is now in front with Veiled. Both of our top 2 are in this heat. So the Masquerade is now the time to not mess up. Because if they do, the Birds have a prime opportunity to make up that ground. Even if they finish as high as 5th, they can get a gold medal and make up 14 points of ground. Anyway, speaking of that, Masquerades will cruise to a heat win, as Opalescent, Accord, and Sunlight will keep lights for their respective teams, as Flood and Mainstay and Daybreak, I believe, could not do so. As we have now 5 teams in the red. Accord and Sunlight are guaranteed to stay for another round, though. Now, among these teams, we're guaranteed to lose at least one team now. Mara's now in the front. Can they maybe actually get their first medal of the season? It's now really big fight between 5 marbles at the front. Lights and Maidens need to catch up if they wanna hold on, maybe get a medal. Burr is now in the front. Masquerade need to make up that ground, need to make it to the top 4 or else. Can they do so? And they will. Marrows, Anchors, Birds, and Masquerades will be the ones to get. Will be the ones who will still stay in contention. But however, now's the time we say goodbye to both the Monarch Maidens and the Luminescent Lights, as now both are knocked out. In both tied for 6th place. Well done for the both of them. Down to 5 marbles. Anchors, Marrows, Masquerades, Birds, and Suns. 5 left. Which 2 will miss out on the podium in today's event? Seems like it's going to be the Masquerades and Suns. I believe both are now down to their last life. Masquerades are falling farther and farther behind. They need to make up that ground. Birds are in the front. If they get a medal, that'll be disastrous for the Masquerade's massive lead of 17 points. They're falling further behind. God needs to do something. Birds in the front though. Can Masquerade getting some speed, but it's far too late. Suns and Masquerade could not do it. And both are knocked out. Garbins, and they tried their very best to make up to the catch up to the pack. But neither could do it, and that means both will tie for 4th. But we have our podium finishers, and also this means that both the Anchors and the Mars will get their first medal of the season. Well done for the both of them. But not up for both of them. The bottom 2 to fight against the team in 2nd overall. The Masquerades are counting their lucky stars as they're praying that the Birds will slip up, and hopefully the Anchors or Maros will both beat them. However, it's not looking like that, as we're only down to 3 marbles. Only the one marble in last will lose a life. Currently it's the Maros, and they're falling further behind as Birds far in the front with the Anchors. The Maros are far too late. They cannot do anything about it. Maros will cross the line in last. Amazing showing from them. Afternoon tried their very best. It was very lovely to see them finally do good for an event, but they can only get 3rd. A card for the Ballet Birds. The Ballet Birds still have 2 lives compared to the Anchors 1. Can we perhaps see a great comeback for them? They're now off. Anchors now in the front. Anchors need to survive 2 more rounds. They have to beat the Birds twice if they want to get a gold medal. Birds need to beat the Anchors 1 time. This is very one-sided. Birds now take it in the sand. Birds and Anchors now fighting on the sand section. But Birds now take the lead. A cart in the lead. Anchor needs to do something. If not, the the Birds will pick up so much ground in the standings. Can Anchor make up the ground? No, they can't. Anchor will only get a silver. But that means the Ballet Birds will get the win. Anchor tried their very best, trying their best to bring their team to victory, but it's not enough. A cart, despite having an extra spare life to their team's name, they will cruise to an event win. Well done to them. Anchors will happily take the silver, and Maros will happily take the bronze. Amazing job for all 3 teams. Congrats to our podium finishers, Amber Maros, Aqua Anchors, and Ballet Birds for podiuming in this event. Onto the standings with that gold medal. The Ballet Birds has shrunk that gap to a whopping 5 points, as only 3 teams left can win Season 5. Between the Masquerades to the Dragon Dancers. we'll see you in the next event, the elimination race. I hope to see you there. Bye bye.